Welcome to Funeral614, Say Their Name. I am your host, Lori Diaz, the Funeral Chic. And as a funeral director, I have had the privilege of standing beside thousands of families during moments of grief. And one thing that I've learned is while a funeral may mark the end of the life, it never is the end of the story. And behind every service, there is a person who's laughed, they've dreamed, and they've left an imprint on our hearts and our lives. And behind every obituary is a story that deserves to be told. And behind every name is a life that still matters. So, this podcast was created to give families and friends and communities a safe place to remember out loud, to speak the names of people they've loved, share moments that made them unforgettable, and to have honest conversations about grief, about healing, about hope, and about love that continues long after we said, see you later. So, whether your loss happened recently, many years ago, or whether you are here because you're grieving, simply because you want a better understanding of who someone is, you're welcome here. Here, we don't rush grief, we honor love, we celebrate life, and we remember that their story continues. So this is Funeral614, Say Their Name, because love still lives after loss. This is Funeral614, Say Their Name. I'm Lori Diaz, the Funeral Chic, and we're creating a space where it's okay to speak the name of someone you love, to share stories, and to honor how you made it through. No judgment, no rushing, just truth, love, and memory. Because as long as you say their name, they're still with us. So today, we are joined by one of my good friends, and I'm going to allow him to introduce himself, but I have to tell the viewers and the listening audience that he is the funeral home photographer. So he sees behind the lens, but today, the lens is on him because he's sharing his personal story through grief and his journey. And so I'm going to have him introduce himself.
Well, I am the Reginald Sankey.
The
Born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. I'm 24 years old. I've known Lori for about 5 years, I would think it's been. It's been some time. We've seen each other in the city. I think she came into my life actually right around the time my grandfather was, I think, at least sick, and then we really embraced each other when he passed through her love and support. So, yeah.
Okay, so we're talking today about our grandfather, and so we want to say his name.
Yes, his name is Sim L. Sankey, Sim Lewis Sankey. Yes.
Sim Lewis Sankey, Mr. Sankey.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about Mr. Sankey.
Okay, well, I would call him Pawpaw, of course. Let's see. I don't even know to describe this man. I mean, like, words truly are not enough. Like, when I say, I have conversations with my friends often about my grandfather, especially through the memories. And what I can say is he was just a happy guy. Like, I mean, it was never a day you would not see a smile on his face. I don't care if this man had went through hell at home. I don't care if he had went through something on the job or he went through something with somebody on the street. He always was just smiling. He was always a comedian. I mean, just the best grandpa I could ask for, So, I mean, the word just can't describe him. He was just that guy to be around. Like,
Was
really.
he born and raised here in Columbus?
He was born in Raymer, Alabama. It's about 35 minutes outside of Montgomery, Alabama, which is their capital. Him and my grandmother moved up here, I would say in the late 60s maybe, because he was born in 1940. So he came up here. He began working for Kroger. He was a meat cutter for them for some years, retired from them, and then he ended up going and starting his own electrician and plumbing I guess business. I think he took it as a gig and turned it into a business.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
And
and
that's after.
that's after he had retired from Kroger. So later on in life, after he's had some kids and stuff like that.
So we see where you got that entrepreneurial
Yeah,
spirit
and I
from.
think it's honestly all in the Sankey family. Like we have lots of entrepreneurs. All of his brothers own something in Columbus. We had a detailing business on the west side. I mean, even now, I mean, some of us have so many businesses. Some of our barbers, some of us are photographers, hairstylists. I mean, entrepreneurs are all in our family. But yeah, he definitely started that, and he was doing a lot of people's work like in the city, and he self-taught himself like how to fix plumbing. He worked on cars. He was a mechanic for quite some time. Yeah, I mean that man worked. He worked hard.
What is one thing that you would say makes Papa unforgettable?
That smile on his face. I mean, literally, I don't care. Like, just seeing his smile would brighten you. Like,
Wow.
because again, this man, he had prostate cancer, and I can't remember the exact year, but I remember sitting in the office with him and when he got diagnosed, and I mean, him and his doctor became best buddies. Like, I mean, they had went on fishing trips. They would sit down at breakfast. I mean, like the cancer did not stop him. And seeing him go through that and overachieving that, of course, beating it, he still was just so happy. So just to see that smile and you know on his face, and you never know what someone's going through on the inside of them. It just made my day. You know, yeah,
Wow.
especially being young too.
What what has surprised you most about this grief journey?
It's tricky. If I can be honest, grief can be a pain in the butt. Because again, you never know when it's gonna hit you. You never know how it's gonna come at you. It just comes in so many shapes, packages. I mean, you just never know. You may get a whiff of it when you go get the mail, because again, that's something my grandfather would do. You know, I sit on the porch often because that's something that he would do, of course. But I mean, grief is just tricky, and I mean, I deal with it the best way I can. But I don't know.
What do you think has been the most that you've had to adjust to?
I would say really being an adult, because again, my grandfather raised me and I depended on him to do everything. Like, I mean, if it was to just go to the bank and just withdraw some money, I would send grandpa to do it, because it's just something that's what I thought he was supposed to do. I'm thinking grandpa's going to be here forever, honestly, as a kid. As becoming an adult now and seeing that grandpa is not here and knowing how to operate, I just think about, well, what he would do, you know? Because again, it's like he self-taught himself. I do a lot. So me, I do the same thing. Just figure it out. Just figure it out.
So take me back to when Papa passed. You don't have to know the exact date, but were we anticipating that was Papa on hospice, or was it just kind of take me through through that day, that what you can remember?
Okay, so I just had this conversation with my grandmother and her sister about a week ago, because we have never actually had this conversation until this week, the week past. It was expected in my head, but for the family, it wasn't. Grandpa was on hospice. We had put him on hospice, I believe, maybe 7 to 8 months prior to his death. So he had been on it for a good year, and he slowly, you know, progressed worse, of course. And it would be days where he would progress worse and he would go back up and be in great spirits. But actually, the day of his death, we had just returned back from Alabama burying his nephew.
Wow.
He had passed in a tragic accident, and we drove up back from Alabama. I believe that was that Sunday night. My grandmother was still there, so she wasn't even in Columbus. She didn't plan to get in Columbus until, I believe, 10:30 Monday night.
Okay.
So I got home. My sister was there with him at the house, and what I can say is that night he had got really sick. He had like a bad cough, and my sister was texting us, letting us know that, you know, he was not doing that well. But we were just thinking it was one of those funks he was in, you know, not that this is going to be the moment. And so That morning when I woke up, I had called hospice and I had, discussed with them and told them like, he's just not doing well. And I kind of need somebody out here like immediately because again, this is not his shape and I don't like it. It just doesn't seem real. Actually, I take that back. I made that phone call earlier that night or later that night. I guess at like 3:00 in the morning, I think I made that phone call. And maybe around 11 o'clock, it was so strange that the chaplain from the hospice, the nurse, and the social worker was at my front door. I was like, this is not normal. This is not how they show up. I already was preparing at that moment that this could be very much so that moment. About 3:00, I went upstairs to, I believe, freshen up. They had prayed with him. The nurse had, at that point, injected the morphine. And me and my capacity didn't really know what the morphine was doing. I guess I thought that it was supposed to magically make him better or healed.
But it's like palliative care.
Yeah. And I came downstairs and I had heard his breathing, but it had just got like quieter and quieter, and it just went silent. And I was like, he wasn't on a breathing tube. Actually, I take that back. He was on a breathing tube at that point. They had put him on it at that point, and it was just no oxygen. It was nothing, and it was just like.
Was it just you and your sister in that moment?
I was actually at the house by myself. My sister, she lived next door, so I texted her and was like, "Get over here immediately." And she rushed over. She's confused, and she works in healthcare, so she's confused. She's not knowing what to do. I knew something was up at that point because again, it's like, oh, this is really happening. Grandpa's really just passed away. Really in our hands. And it was so crazy because people were coming over visiting that day. Like they were planned to come. His nephew was coming. I called his nephew immediately, and I said, "Hey, get over here. He literally just passed." And
have you had since that experience? Or prior to that experience, had you had anyone else? Had you ever been with anyone else who passed in that, or was he your first person that you were actually there when the person passed?
First person actually physically there, because him and his brother shared a duplex. On the other side, my uncle lived next door, and so when he passed, we were asleep, and so I knew about it. We found out that morning, but I mean, not like physically there that day, but I was.
So in that moment, did you, you kind of spring into action? Did you have any time to kind of have any, kind of one-on-one pause for a minute before the hustle and bustle of calling?
Not really. I had spoke with my grandmother on FaceTime a little early that morning and kind of was trying to tell her like, I think this is going to happen. She tried to give me some insight, like, oh, it's not, just think positive. I never had the moment because so many people had got to our house so fast. Like, I mean, it was like a blink of an eye. It was 30 people outside of the house. And I was like, where are all these people coming from? I only made one phone call, and again, my grandmother hadn't even knew yet. Matter of fact, she was in the air. So that was my first thought. I didn't think about me. My first thought was his wife. Like, that's all he talked about.
How long were they married?
They were married 40 plus years, but
wow.
They been together for about 50. If not more than that. And so it was just like, what do I do? I called my uncle. My aunt was on the flight with my grandmother. And so I called her husband. I was like, Grandpa just passed away. What do we do? Like, we literally were trying to contact the airport and everything. Because again, it's like, we never had to deal with this. So what do you do in that moment? And yeah, it was just, that day was so hard. And unfortunately, his body sat out until about 12 o'clock that night. So again, he passed at 3. He sat till about 12 because we made sure that my grandmother saw him before he left the house. Because I knew that would break her if he was to be removed out of the house.
So she was able to land and then come home.
Definitely.
And spend a few moments before the funeral home came. Mm-hmm. What, when you think about legacy and being in the space where your grandfather passed, what do you believe is his legacy?
Okay, if I can be honest, I look at legacy different than most people. Like, 'cause some people could say legacy like, oh, what have you done for the city or the community? I just look at what you have done for yourself or the people around you. And
Yeah.
not only did he impact the people around him, he impacted the people that he never even knew. So legacy, I just look at his businesses that he's accomplishes. I mean, the homes that he had owned, I mean, the cars, I mean, everything. I mean, just the life legacy, the life lessons that he had taught. I mean, his legacy is him. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. He was able to create that's I guess stamp, if that makes sense, because nobody else can be him. So that's what I consider his legacy, just him. I mean, he was just so potent in whatever he did, and whatever he wanted to do, he was going to do it. If he wanted to take a hot water tank apart and put it back together, he was going to do it in your living room. Yeah. So, I mean,
If Papa was here right now, what would you want to say to him?
honestly, I just would want to laugh. I wouldn't even have anything to say because, like I said, seeing his smile, being able to laugh with him, that would just heal me so much. Because again, he was that person that if I was having a rough day, call him. If I just needed $5, call him. If I just wanted to go for a ride down the road, call him. So it's just like to just be able to laugh one good time, because again, we weren't even able to share that. Matter of fact, when he was when I prepared to leave for the road trip to go to Alabama, he was in a well state of mind. When I got back to him, he wasn't even verbal. So it was like we never got to have our last words. So I don't even think words will do it. Laughing would do it.
Do you feel like because he was on hospice and you kind of were watching that progression daily because you were at the house, do you feel like you had anticipatory grief?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, and I said this to my friends. We talk about this all the time. I think I grieved my grandfather while he was living, because again, I saw it, and I saw it before the doctor had even diagnosed that he had Alzheimer's and dementia. I'm like, this man is getting lost. This man is not remembering how to do things, and this is somebody that could drive to Alabama with his eyes closed.
Oh,
so
right,
I just
right.
knew something wasn't right, And it would be times he would forget who I was, and so I'm like, this isn't normal. This isn't normal. This isn't normal.
What do you wish people understood about grief or about your grief? What do you wish you feel like people don't understand? Or
So this is the millionaire question. I guess we can go cash the check in for me. So while I was grieving, I was at the peak of my business, where I was like the number one photographer to come to if you wanted anything done, wedding, anything for senior pictures. And this is before I had even started doing funeral stuff. I mean, like, I was really the photographer if you wanted. I think I had got so distracted in pre-grieving and then actually grieving and then also soaking it all in, of losing my focus on my business. And so that's the one thing I don't like about grief. Because again, it ruined a lot of opportunities for me, because I was so blind and so numb to the actual things I was doing, and so focused on what would my grandfather have been doing if he was still living. Because again, I was taking care of him every single day, every single night. My brain was processed to, or it was trained to think about grandpa. Because again, I was waking up to him, I was going to bed to him. It was the middle of the night, so I lost focus. And grief is just that, like I said, a pain in the butt, because you don't know how it's going to come. It's just unfair, actually, I think.
so do you feel like maybe us as a consumer, were we not sensitive in that moment? Or do you feel like or do you just feel like grief became a distraction where you, at the height of your business, you kind of had to take a little dip to kind of rebound back? And if that's the case, how did you rebound?
I don't think that it was it wasn't talked about, if that makes sense. I didn't share those details with people. I thought that this was something, let me put it this way, taking care of your parents or your grandfather was not something I thought needed to be boasted or talked about. I just thought that's something that you just did. So, that was just a chore of mine. It wasn't like a task. That was just a chore. And so I didn't want to share it with clients. I didn't want to share it with friends or people, because again, it just was like, I just thought that we did that. But I mean, I think that if I was more open, people probably would have been a bit more understanding. I think that if I prioritized better and set things to where it would have been, it would have been lined up good, and I would have been okay. And how did I rebound? I think was one of your questions. I'm still rebounding now. Like, I'm just making tweaks as it goes. Every client for me is just something that I try to figure out, what can I add? What can I take away? I'm very critical of myself nowadays. Of just try to be not perfect, but try to get the crinks out the water hose.
I tell people when we're at services that, the funeral seems like it's more of the easy day because everybody is around, everybody is rallied all those weeks or maybe a week up into the service. Did you notice the silence of the phone calls?
Absolutely. I think about people saying they was going to come by and cut my grandmother's grass. People would say they would come by and see her. Not one person has been by, unless we've called to say we're having something at the house, or they just was just driving by. The calls never even came, honestly. Like I think we kind of mean that
well in the moment, but I don't know what we can do to be of more of a support besides maybe setting a reminder in your phone, because what happens is life for us continues. We continue on, but we forget that your life has now changed. The trajectory has changed, and
absolutely
how you handle things as a caregiver. Your pattern now has to change, because you're used to, around the clock care for your grandfather, and now it's like, well, what do I do now? So how have you adjusted to the new normal, if you will?
Well, I think I've adjusted because, like, for example, I'm still present in my grandmother's life. I think that for the people that said they were going to come by and check on her, and it's a known fact that they haven't done it for me. So if I would have, or if I was to leave, I feel like she really ain't got nobody to count on. And I mean, granted, she has her kids, and they do a wonderful job. But it's like, what about the cousins, the nephews, the nieces, that she really loves and adores? It doesn't take that much to pick up the phone and call. And I don't be worried about me more so. I just be worried about her, because again, she's the one that really needs that care. You know what I'm saying? I figure it out day by day. And even being a part of her life and making sure that she's good. I know my grandfather would love that. Like, I know he would. That's what he would want, for me to stay right by her side, taking care of her, doing what I'm doing now, making sure she is a part of the Diamond family. That's what we call us ourselves.
Okay. So did he call that, or is that what you coined?
It's one of my cousins. She has introduced this into our family now, that we're the Diamond family.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
So special. We're so special.
Okay. Now tell me recall one memory. It could be a childhood memory. It could be an adult memory about Paw that you want to share, that brings you comfort, that you can kind of, in those times of grief, that you can think back and kind of smile or laugh about.
This is a really crazy story. So my grandfather, I went to Tree of Life Christian Schools over in Indianola for elementary. And so in one of the classrooms, there is a window where in the back of the school, there's an alley. And my grandfather had this thing where he liked to dig in trash cans and find gold. And one day during recess, we were outside playing on the playground, and all I hear is this loud truck that's coming up the alley. And I knew it was my grandfather's, because he had a Hemi in it. And so I just knew it was him. And we looked to the right, and he literally is digging out of the trash can, getting all types of cans, finding computers, finding TVs, putting it up on the back of his truck. And I think about that often, because even when he got sick, I mean, to the very last point where we had to lock him in the house, he was still every morning going outside in the trash cans, and he would find stuff. Don't get me wrong, but of course, the trash cans are so unsafe and unsanitary. We had to stop that. But I think about that often because no matter the sickness, it was one thing that it was three things I'll say that he definitely would remember. One was God, his wife, and to digging those trash cans. So, I always think about that story.
What they say, the trash is another man's treasure.
Another man's treasure, absolutely.
So I guess Papa was like, I'm gonna find this
treasure.
He found
it. He did. He found some good stuff. I still have some of the stuff that he has found. I'm serious.
Do you find yourself becoming more like him?
Absolutely. People say I got the old man syndrome, I guess, because I act just like
I see you in that funeral home trash can behind the funeral,
I might see if we got something in there. Yes, you might. No, I'm kidding. No, I probably will never dig in a trash can. No, we're not doing that. No, your hands might get dirty.
So what do you see yourself become like? Tell me, describe that. Is it in the mirror when you smile? Is it how you take care of your grandmother? What is it that you're like? How like you do something and you pause for a second, you be like,
yeah,
that's Papa.
Yeah, definitely. I think just the daily activities, the care of how you care for people, the actions of what I just do random stuff. Like people talk about something, I'm always on the road. Yeah, I get it from my grandfather. Like he would randomly on a Friday afternoon go get a rental car and he would drive to Alabama or he'll drive wherever he felt like he wanted to go. So, Detroit, yeah, wherever. And so my road trips, it'd be my random moments. And surprisingly, this may sound crazy, but when I'm in the car by myself, I really just think about my grandfather being in the passenger seat and I'm in the car because I'd be low-key scared driving on some of these road trips because you be in these mountains and the crazy road. But yeah, he definitely is part of my road trips.
In the grief journey, did you have to go to therapy or anything? Or so if you didn't, that's fine. It's no judgment.
No. But this is the question I was waiting for because I don't think I've ever even discussed this with you. I did not go to therapy, but this is a moment where I'm going to thank you because giving me the opportunity to do the content and photography at Affinity Memorial has been such a blessing and a healing process because people wonder, how do I photograph the non-living? How do I work at these funerals? But people don't understand, I'm really just putting my gift to work. I don't like to look at them as the dead. I look at them as they once were a living person and they still need to be captured. Like it's a lot of people that like photos and all that type of stuff and videos, and people don't really realize the meaning of that. That's supposed to capture something memorable for you to remember. So each family or each loved one I get to work with is a blessing because it's just like able to see what I see in my head and put it out on the camera and produce that for a family to remember their loved one and I don't even know them. Like that just heals me all the way because again, I know how it feels to just have grandpa or a mom or a dad, whoever they're loving on that has passed away. Right. So that's how my therapy has been.
And I think when we have those moments when we have a photographer on the service, I feel like your eye is helping the family. They are
absolutely
in grief.
Absolutely.
They don't have, sometimes your picture or something that you've captured, they're like, oh, I didn't even see her there. Even though they came through the line and hugged, they're not able to kind of process that in that moment. And so I think behind the lens, you're able to capture some things that maybe in a few days or a few weeks or months, maybe a year that they don't even look at it. They then can see that and say, oh, so-and-so was there.
Yeah, I was just ready to say that, not to cut you off, but like a lot of times people don't realize you bring everybody to a funeral, and that's so sad that we only come together at a funeral. But again, a lot of families, that's where they get a lot of their photos of people who they haven't seen in years, or people who don't even take pictures. I was able to capture them, and they don't even know they were in the picture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that definitely helps the family because living in that moment, sitting on that front row, they say often, sitting on the front row is a different type of pain. It truly is because you don't really pay attention that day. Like I remember sitting on the front row and I was there physically, but mentally I was so zoned out. I was just going with the flow. Whatever they said we was doing, we're doing it. So yeah.
I think when my friend lost his mother, one of the comments that he shared was because funeral staff, we sit in the back.
Yeah.
And his comment was the front row seat is different, feels different. Church is the same church, but that front row seat feels a lot different than where we typically sit when we're at a service. And so What do you wish people did not do during that season? What's one thing you're like, I didn't like that, or I ain't.
As far as grief, or as far as like it's service wise?
Not necessarily service wise, but sometimes people will say, I know how you feel, or they just show up at your house during the
definitely.
and think that you're expecting, that you want visitors.
Oh, absolutely.
What one thing you're like, y'all need to stop doing that?
I would tell my grandma almost every other day, like, I want to stop opening this door. Because, people were coming by that I hadn't seen in years just to come get a plate because they knew we had food at the house. Because, people were dropping off food continuously month after month, and we definitely appreciate it because it came in clutch. But I'm like, y'all don't even come by. And then we would, like, for example, to go sidebar, we would have a wonderful alcohol collection. And people would only come to our house for a drink because they knew we was going to make a good drink and they could, it's just like, no, when you could just come by and do that naturally. Like, just don't use this excuse.
Do you feel like the family during that grief time, because we as a community or friends, we want to rally around, but do you feel like the family didn't, during that week time up to the service, you didn't really even have a chance to all be as a family?
No, we really didn't.
Outside.
We really didn't. I think about moments of us planning the funeral. It was sounds we were trying to have a family meeting, I guess, or not even a family meeting, just trying to pull things together. Because again, this was our first time planning a funeral, so none of us knew how this worked. And people would just be there all day and just sitting like, and they knew we had stuff to talk about, but they trying to be nosy, trying to see what's going on, what's the deeds, what's the details and all that type of stuff. No, you got to go. And so, I just wish that people would have gave us some more privacy. That's all. That's all. Because again, they would be there from the time the sun rose to the time the sun went in, and the night owls were out.
What would you tell your Reggie now?
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell the Reggie now, learning what you've learned from your grandfather? Because you said your grandfather raised you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what would you kind of speak to? What would you speak now to Reggie? What words of encouragement would you give Reggie in this process? Or what kudos would you give yourself through this process?
I do it often. I give myself my own flowers every day, because just to wake up in the world and just to put a smile on your face is hard every day. And so I think what I would tell myself is just to keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. I'm unstoppable now, but I think what I've learned from, and even still learning today, this process is only for you. So find what works, whether it's grieving, whether it's, mentally, whatever the case may be, and just keep pushing. Because, there's nothing else you can do. You can't go back and change anything. So
Right.
You can only change what's in front of you. So,
Right.
Honestly, just keep going. Of course, there was moments where I was not happy with myself. But, we all have those days.
Right.
We're not going to tell nobody, but I'm one to own it. I definitely was not happy at some of the situations I handled. Even when it comes to loving family and stuff, I'm still learning a process now how to treat people, because I was just like, y'all didn't treat me the way I think the world should be treated. So I don't know. Let me not go there today.
When you decided that you wanted to come on to say their name, what made you say, I'm coming?
Well, really just to see if I was going to actually hold myself accountable and do it. Because one, this has been a process and I don't talk about it often, and it's only certain people I'm willing to talk to it with. And knowing that this is something you deal with every day because you're working with families, you're actually, you could understand it. I didn't see no other reason why not to. This is a positive thing that you're doing here. And again, I had to, put some respect to my grandfather's name, because again, he just was that guy, like I said. So I didn't want to miss his opportunity.
I appreciate that you came on to the podcast.
Absolutely.
Because one of the things that I want people to know, that it is okay to say their loved one's name.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think grief, we think we're going to forget the person.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes it's such a painful hurt that we don't often want to say their name, because it's like,
Yeah.
you try to avoid it. And
Yeah.
I want people to know that it is okay to still talk about your loved one. Don't let people say, "Oh, you're still talking about that." Yes, I'm absolutely still talking about Isaiah Hall, who passed on August 1st of
Absolutely.
1998. I'm gonna
Yeah.
still talk
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
because it is something that it's impacted, and Papa has impacted you.
Absolutely.
He shaped who you are, and so it is okay to still verbalize that I am missing this person.
Absolutely.
That it is still a void that is not going to be that is not going to be
I guess healed. Really. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
And now that, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, how can I put it? People are people. We have to love people regardless. So not to think about somebody and I don't care if you love them. I don't care if you hate them. When someone dies, it's some things that you wish that you could have said and you never got the chance to say it, whether it was sorry or, whether I love them. So thinking about them and remembering, and I guess remembering them is the best thing that you can do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Without racking yourself up, because it's days I don't really cry. Like I'll have a moment, but it's very, very sudden. Like it just random, I should say. Like it hit me in the car on the road trip. I would just be playing a song and it just will just come out of nowhere.
Right.
But I think because again, Grandpa was someone that he could be dealing with someone he would never shed a tear, and that's kind of how I have taught myself to be. Now again, it'll come out, and you better be careful.
Like when it comes,
I'm like, just give me the box of tissue, please. I'm okay.
It says, here's a quote that I found on grief, and it says, "We carry them differently now, but we still carry them." And I think that the memory of your grandfather, you carry it differently now. And I think that having this conversation will allow you don't have to go to therapy. Not that I'm against therapy. Don't let me look in this camera. I'm not against therapy.
Some people need to go.
Some people can't afford to go to therapy.
And that's true. And true.
So some people have learned how to cope in different ways. Some cope negatively, and some have learned to cope positively.
Yeah.
Because grief really, we're not just talking about the stages of grief. Grief can just be like I shared in the last podcast. I left a whole grocery cart because I wasn't even going for butter pecan ice cream, but I saw butter pecan ice cream, and it just had me have a whole meltdown.
I had
in
a
the
whole
store.
meltdown. Yes. Yes.
It came out of nowhere.
Yes.
This was like 10 years
There's
later.
certain stores I won't go to because I know what it would do to me.
I'm like, what is happening right
Yeah.
now? Like this is,
Yeah.
And I think I even faulted myself, like, girl, it's been 10 years. But then I was like, it's your
don't matter.
father.
It don't matter.
Quit tripping. Like,
It don't matter.
It's give yourself grace and give yourself time.
And it's okay to cry. It's
It is
okay to
okay.
have a grieving moment.
It is okay.
I wish people would do it more because again, I think for me, because I have a lot of people in my life. So like, my aunts, my uncles, I'm very close with them. I remember losing uncles and aunties, and we would just be a complete train wreck because that's all I remember, growing up. So yeah, grief is crazy.
And I think often in our community, there's really no class on grief. Everybody grieves differently. And I think sometimes we have to recognize grief is not only just the loss of a person. Grief could be a loss of a job. Grief could be a loss of a house. Somebody who has had a fire in their home, they can grieve the things that they had. Yes, they're materialistic things, but they still could grieve. They worked hard for those things.
Hard, yeah.
So grief kind of can take on a lot of different avenues.
Yeah.
And so here's another quote that I want you to kind of give me some guidance on and how it applies to you. It says, "Grief is what happens when love has nowhere physical to go." When I read that, what does that say to Reggie?
Read that one more time. I want to hear that again.
Grief is what happens when love has nowhere physical to go.
Because I don't want to, I guess, overthink how that is coming out. I don't know. That's where
It
love.
says grief is what happens when love has nowhere physical to go. And I think maybe I'll tell you my take on it.
Okay.
It's like grief because the physical is the person physically there. So grief is like, I can't hug you anymore. I can't physically hug. So
Yeah.
grief is what happens. I'm feeling that
Yeah.
grief because you're not physically here with us.
Yeah. I mean, in those moments, shoot, I have still some of my grandfather's clothes I still wear. So I'll throw on a hoodie and be like, I'm all right now. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I take that back. He has a varsity jacket that when he passed away, I caused hell in the family because I said, where's the jacket? It walked about this house. I'll just go and just put that on and just embrace the love there, I guess, because that was his favorite jacket.
Yeah, that is your opportunity to kind of feel close. I have a friend who told me that when her daughter passed, she put her daughter's clothes in to tubs, and she sealed it real, because she wanted to make sure that she was able to still always remember what her daughter smelled like. And so it's those moments of
I still look at the videos I've created of my grandfather, his crazy self and his outbursts and stuff. And that's just I gotta watch them every so often. I watch them, I'll say, and embrace the love from that too.
I was reading this one quote. It said, "Grief needs a witness," and so I feel like I am the witness in this grief process. Even at the funeral home, I'm the person who gets a front row seat to a family's grief. That sometimes people don't always get to see that intimate side of a person when they're first coming and they're having an opportunity to see their person for the first time at the funeral home. We kind of have that witness seat, and so with this podcast, I'm glad that I have an opportunity to witness someone else talk about their loved one. Absolutely. And we want to say his name one more time. Come on.
Sim Lewis Sankey.
No, we need to say it with
Sim L. Sankey, as he would say, Big Money Grip. Yeah, that was
because he was part of the Diamond family.
The Diamond family also. Yes, I'm sorry. The Diamond family. Yes.
All right. And we are glad that we are able to say Mr. Sankey's name today on our episode. And we want you to know that grief in this journey is difficult. Absolutely. But when you say their name, there's power in saying a person's name. There's power in the name. And so I'm glad that we are saying their name. And today we are going to say it together.
Sim Lewis Sankey. Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. And we look forward to continue to say their name. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Funeral 614, Say Their Name. If today's conversation touched your heart, please subscribe. Share this episode with someone who may need it, and help us to continue creating space for honest conversations about grief and healing. If you would like to share your loved one's story or be considered as a future guest, we'd love to hear from you. You can learn more about the podcast and connect with us through Funeral 614 and Affinity Memorial Chapel. And remember, love does not disappear, it changes form. As long as we say their name, their story continues. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of one another, and keep their memory alive. I'm Lori Diaz, the Funeral Chick.